when did you make it like your first record? Like in 78, 70?
76.
Right. So when you arrived, then I guess the perception was that you are going to pick the baton up and lead the charge, and then out of nowhere, jazz goes back to the 40s that made people feel safe. Like the bop movement suddenly returns. Like in your mind, where did you feel that you were creatively in 76 when you're making your debut?
Well, prior to that, I grew up in the Church of God in Christ, and my mother was a piano player.
Really?
She used to be at Ephesians Church and then Missionary Church of God in Christ. All that old happy days. She was part of all of that. So I grew up. I remember the first thing I remember about music. I'm 3 or 4 years old, and she's trying to learn how to play the foot pedals on the organ, and I'm making a game out of it, because I wasn't old enough to go to school, So next thing I know, I got a saxophone, and I'm 9, and I took it to church that night and started playing. And Reverend Daniel said, "Oh, I see young David's got a new instrument. He sounds quite spirited, And I was playing shit like Howard Island in, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but now I do. So anyway, so when I came to New York, I had played a lot of blues gigs. I played with, I played backup to bad singers, R&B, played in Richmond, behind different singers, Tyrone Davis, different people come through town.
You played with Tyrone Davis?
Yeah, come through your town.
What other commercial artists have you played with?
The Pneumonics. A lot of people. Everybody in the Bay Area,
Okay.
I was in horn sections, mixed company. Marvin Holmes, Uptights, and different people, people like that, organ players, different people, I grew up in church, So so when I came to New York, I kind of put all that stuff away to kind of get into this new music movement. So when I got to New York, I could tell you, we used to play down the Studio We and different studios, and I knew a lot more than a lot of the cats around me. There was a lot of cats that were playing the horn real hard and long, but I grew up playing the saxophone. I didn't just pick it up, Mm-hmm. I had history in my sound. The horn has always been my best friend, and I was an athlete, so I could play the horn, and I could play it with power. And I use circular breathing for power, not for long notes. I get louder as I play. So anyway, I'm just saying, I scrapped all of what I learned in my teenage years and early years to come into the avant-garde, because I knew Bobby Bradford, and I knew Arthur Blythe. I knew Wilbur Morris and Butch Morris, and I met all these people that showed me how to go into this area of music. But I had already learned a lot of stuff before I met them. So when I came to New York, it was easy for me to navigate somehow, because I had this history in my young self. I had all this history already inside of me.
Were you aware of the perception? Like I always thought that, or I was under the impression that New Yorkers kind of look down on California musicians, jazz musicians.
Yeah, because a lot of the jazz musicians from California, they end up playing that smooth jazz in L.A. And I couldn't stand that kind of stuff.
Oh, so it's valid.
I couldn't stand it. So when I came to New York, I wanted to play hard. I was like coming out of interstellar space with Train and Rashid Ali. That's what I wanted to do, kind of stuff like that. I met Sun Ra and hung out with him, and I met Rashan out there. I met Sonny Rollins, and I wanted to be like those guys.